Hello and welcome to CNN News 18. This is Kamalika Sengupta. Now, Tripura is a state in Northeast which is lot of in news nowadays. It's a beautiful state, but four bipoles are there, 4 seats bipoles are there, but it's considered to be the semi-finals. Now, today we are joined with us from Tripura the Maharaja of Tripura, Pradyot Bikram Manikya, and also the fighter, according to his supporters, the fighter who is fighting for Tripura land is also the chief of Tipraha, the new party which talks about the rights of the indigenous people there. Welcome, Pradyot, to giving us time for such a big campaign schedule you all have. First question
Thank you,
is
Kamalika.
what Tripura Motha stands for and why do you need a greater Tripura land?
First of all, it's too short a interview for me to go into the entire the hurt and the pain of the indigenous people who've gone through a lot of difficulties post the merger of Tripura into the Indian Union. But to put it in a concise and a short way, Tipra Motha stands for the indigenous people's rights, the constitutional rights. And we've realized that in India today, the numbers are not with us. The numbers are with those who have the maximum population. And we want to safeguard our constitutional rights, we want to safeguard our land rights, we want to safeguard our political rights, and we want to also come up economically, which is not possible or which has not been possible in the many decades since we merged into the Indian Union, largely because of large scale migration of persecuted Hindus from Bangladesh or East Pakistan at one point. We understand the pain and the hurt which the Hindus went in East Pakistan or present day Bangladesh, and we understand that they also need to be given refuge and shelter in India and even in certain parts of Tripura. What has happened is that because of this large scale or abnormal influx which has happened due to atrocities towards Hindus in present day Pakistan, Bangladesh, the indigenous people have actually ended up being on the wrong side of the stick. And we have lost in a lot of aspects of economic development, education, language, identity, land rights. And today, the demand for Tipra land is to safeguard the rights of the indigenous people without taking away any constitutional rights of the persecuted Hindus who have come from Bangladesh. Many times there's a confusion just because we are demanding Tipra land and our constitutional rights, the indigenous Tiprasas. Uh, uh, it does not mean that we want to take away or usurp away the rights of those who have come into India because they also have a story to be heard and they've also gone through immense hardship. We want to safeguard our constitutional rights, and our demand for Greater Tipra land is under Article 2, 3, and 4 of the Indian Constitution. And we are saying that we need to look ahead. We cannot each keep on politically criticizing each other. We both need help, and this is our way of solving the problem.
So, how do you see the it's this bipoles? The four bipoles is the first time you are contesting from Surma. Congress is supporting you from behind. That's what is the news is. So, what's your take on this, and why it is so nationally significant? These polls have become so nationally significant. 4 seats.
So first of all, no political party is backing us. The Congress could not field its candidate, and hence, since they cannot go with the communists because they've had a history with the communists, and obviously they can't go with the BJP, they decided, and Trinamool was not backing them in their 3 seats. They inadvertently said that we would prefer if the vote went to Motha, but Congress and Tipra Motha have no alliance, understanding internally or externally. Why this election is significant? For us, it's significant because it's the first time a regional party is fighting outside its 20 reserved seat. We also understand that while we speak for the tribals or the indigenous people of Tripura, we cannot avoid or we cannot ignore, most importantly, ignore the rights of the people who work in the cha bagans, who there are many people who are SCs, they may be Bengalis, but they are SC community and who have been equally deprived in the state of Tripura, and we need to speak out for them. We need to speak out for the religious minorities, the Muslims, and we also need to speak about the Bishnupuria Manipuris, because we always associate Manipuris with the state of Manipur, but there are significant amount of Manipuris who are staying in Tripura who have traditional cultural links with Tripura. Many people may not be aware. A lot of the erstwhile Maharanis, the royal families, intermarried into Manipur, and they have an integral part of our Tripura society. So Tipra Motha is now becoming an umbrella political organization, taking in all the marginalized people, whether it is the Cha Bagan workers, whether it is the SC community, whether it is, of course, the indigenous people, the Manipuris, the religious minorities, and now becoming a significant force. The other three seats is a battle where erstwhile Congress leader who switched over to the BJP has come back to the Congress is taking on BJP, and the chief minister himself is fighting the bypoll. Hence, it becomes significant. But the real
So
fight
you
will be in 2023. Uh, yeah, please carry on. Please tell me.
you have done very well in the TTADS elections, the Tripura Motha first time, and you have got so many seats there.
Autonomous
And
council, yes.
yes, and 20 seats are very vital for out of the 60 seats. Next year is the exam. So you have said that whichever party will campaign for Greater Tripura land, you will support them. Now, what is the situation? BJP also tries to keep in contact with you. Congress also tries to keep in contact with you. Whom will Pradyot go? Whom will Tripura Motha go with?
I will go with anyone who actually understands and supports our demand in writing. If they don't, 20 seats are where it's reserved for the tribals, which we are obviously going to fight. But there are 15 other seats where our population is significant. It's above 30-35% in certain seats, in some seats, even close to 40%. And with this new equation of minorities, SCs, Cha Bagan workers, Manipuris, our voting goes up to almost 45-50%, in some places, even 55%. So we would be probably a very significant player in almost 40 out of the 60 seats. 20 where we are absolutely in holding sway, and the other 18 to 20 seats where we are above 35, 40 to 55%. And in a
Any
multi-cornered
pre-poll
contest,
talks?
we
Any
have an
pre-poll
intact vote
talks
bank.
right now? Any pre-poll talks
Until
right
there's
now
nothing
with
in writing,
BJP? Okay.
Kamalika, I'll tell you very honestly, I did not enter politics to make money. God has given us enough. We need good name. We need a legacy. We need to have something which the people will remember us with as well. And to be very honest, if I do any secret pre-poll talks with any political party, be it BJP, because they have all the financial power, then what do I go back and tell my people? That what was the understanding? Was the understanding in diluting our entire movement? Because the people have not voted me because they like my face or because I belong to a certain family or a background. They've voted for us because they think that we are sincere in our demand. So how can I dilute my sincerity and my demand for a few positions and posts? So it has to be in writing and it has to be completely open.
What is your take on the change of chief minister that BJP has done, Biplab to Dr. Manik Shah? Will that help them?
I don't know. I think they must have done the internal calculation. But to change a chief minister who was seen as the face which removed the communist in Tripura after 25 long years, and to change the person just 6 to 7 months before the election is an admittance that there was something wrong in the last 4.5 years of their governance. I think it leads to a lot of confusion in the BJP. There are many aspirants who do not want the present chief minister to continue. And obviously, in politics, there are more things which meets the eye. And so there are many aspirants for the post of the chief minister. You cannot rule out the former chief minister himself wanting to come back, and this will lead to a lot of disruption, and which is not good for the BJP, and which is not also good for Tripura, because an instability at the highest position in the state will lead to a lot of confusion amongst the people and the bureaucracy as well.
what is your take on the TMC's full stress on Tripura? Last year they have like been coming and going, and they've been fielding. Yesterday also Abhishek Banerjee was there, so they are giving full strength there, and they are also opposing CA NRC. So any talks with TMC if they give any feeler, and what's your take on their presence in Tripura?
I don't want to comment about any political party's internal doings. I do know Abhishek very well. I have highest respect for Mamta Di. She was in the parliament with my mother. I have a lot of personal respect and fondness for her. I know Shushmita very well. So I do know Trinamool and what they're trying to do in Tripura. But they will have to work even more hard because despite all the efforts, I don't see much traction in the Hindu Bengali belt. And for them to become a force in Tripura, they will need to get the Hindu Bengali votes, and I don't see that happening as of today. Uh, we have had no talks with Trinamool, and Trinamool will have to get his act together. But I wish them well. Every political party has a right to enter the political arena in Tripura, but they have to work out their own internal dynamics.
But if they approach Tipra Motha, then what's going to be your stand?
It'll be the same stance. I mean, we want a
Right.
constitutional solution for our demand, a constitutional solution. And anyone who supports and who agrees that the tribals have been given a shorthand needs to do so in writing. And how do they support us constitutionally? It's very obvious and very clear where we stand. I think everybody knows our position. They need to make the position clear to the people as well. And let me tell you, when we are demanding our demand of Greater Tripura land, we are not asking in diluting the rights of constitutional rights of any community, more importantly the Bengalis outside the ADC area. I believe that they need to also get a development package. I believe that they also need constitutional protection. And by providing constitutional rights and protection to the tribals, you are also going to give the Bengali people who have come in from Bangladesh their constitutional rights. If you can satisfy the tribals in allowing the tribals and the Bengalis to peacefully live together, then you would have solved the problem, which is basically not a tribal Bengali problem. It's a problem, it's a mess which is created by New Delhi because of their short-term thinking many decades ago.
And what's your take on Congress, your old party, and left's future in Tripura? How do you see them?
Con- Congress is a great party. I left the Congress because I was very badly treated. The people who accused me that I left the Congress and I will join BJP themselves have joined the BJP. The people who accused me of not working enough for the Congress, under me, the Congress had gone up from 1% to almost 30%
Yes.
vote share. Today, they are back to 1%. It's a great party. I have a lot of respect for Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji. I'm personally very fond of Priyanka Gandhi. Rahul is a good friend. But the fact is that the Congress party is in a turmoil across the country, and they will need to make it clear who the leader is. Once they get their act together in Delhi, I'm sure the Congress can again become a formidable force. And till that does not happen centrally, in the states, the Congress will struggle. Though they do have some senior leaders who are very strong. Sudeep Rai Burman is a very strong leader. He's got his personal vote bank. Birajit Sinha is a very strong veteran leader. So there are good leaders in the Congress, and if they are assisted by center, then at least they
Right.
have their traditional vote bank. They will always have it because it's an old party, but they need to get their act together as soon as possible.
Another thing is like, will Tipra Motha be the kingmaker or the king next year? Because next year it's the big fight, and obviously you are one of the Tipra Motha is one of the most significant forces that's there in the state. Will be the kingmaker or the king? What do you see?
See, I know about kings, but I do not know about
Yourself
kingmakers.
is a king.
But I do know. No, I mean I don't consider myself as one. But yes, my grandfather was the ruling king, and my father was the king under whose patronage we merged into India. Tipra Motha's role is not uh, just politically. Tipra Mata's role is to not betray its people. And I'm not in politics, Kamalika, to make money. I don't even want to continue in politics after we achieve our constitutional rights. I've got different hobbies in life. I've got different facets of my personality, and music is there, sports is there, building hospitals, schools, colleges. I am doing this because I want to give something constitutionally to safeguard the interest of the indigenous people. So the role of Tipra Motha in 2023 election will be that without us, nobody can form the government. And because they cannot form the government without us, they will have to give us in writing a demand. Otherwise, we do not mind sitting in the opposition, but we will not sit in the government without getting a constitutional solution for our people.
So that was Pradyot Bikram Manikya for us, who is very confident that yes, he is fighting for his people, for the indigenous people there, and without this force, without Tripura Motha, nobody can form the government in Tripura, which is quite evident from the results that has come out from the autonomous council elections. Thank you, Pradyut, very much. We will be talking more run up to the elections, because Tripura election is going to be interesting, and you are going to be one of the most significant phase in Tripura election. Thanks a lot for giving us time, and all the best for the bypolls.
Thank you, Kamalika, for having us, and thank you for being so patient and hearing us out. Well, I know Humbai.